Good evening, wherever you're joining us from. My name is Patricia Roxanne Hammond, coming to you live from our studios at Kwabenya Point 1. This is NEWSBOARD. Let's take a look at our headlines in Ghana and around the world. Government to embark on a massive decongestion of principal streets in Accra from February 1st, 2022. President Akufo-Addo calls for all Ghanaians to get vaccinated. National Insurance Commission has urged the general public to disregard publications on mandatory Aquaba insurance. And BBC has launched the 2022 Komla Dumont Award. You can also watch us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at NewTVGH. And now to the details. The government has announced plans to embark on a massive decongestion of Principal Street in Accra from February 1st, 2022. According to the government, the grace period offered traders to undertake their businesses along the street in the capital as a result of the festive season has elapsed, hence the need for them to return to their respective markets.
Traders have been known to encroach on walkways, impeding human traffic. The government have moved traders off the walkways in the past before, but to only temporary effect, as they normally return after a few weeks. The Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Quartey cautioned transport operators who park indiscriminately on the streets and persons who ply their trade along the streets to refrain from such acts.
The latest corruption perception index released by Transparency International shows that Ghana has failed to make progress in its fight against corruption. The latest report shows that between 2020 and 2021, Ghana maintained its score of 43, which is still below the average, with countries scoring higher viewed as less corrupt and those with the least scores being more corrupt.
The 2021 CPI focuses on corruption, democracy, and human rights. According to Transparency International, corruption enables both human rights abuses and democratic decline, leading to higher levels of corruption, setting off a vicious cycle. Quote, human rights are not simply a nice-to-have in the fight against corruption. Authoritarian approaches destroy independent checks and balances and make anti-corruption efforts dependent on the whims of an elite. Ensuring people can speak freely and work collectively, hold power to account, is the only sustainable route to a corruption-free society, the report said. Ghana Integrity Initiative recommended that Ghana must enhance institutional checks on power, empower citizens to hold power to account, sanction the corrupt to serve as a deterrent, and improve transparency and accountability in political party and campaign financing to ensure that it improves in the next Corruption Perception Index.
President Nana Akufo-Addo has reiterated the call for all Ghanaians to get vaccinated because currently data available to him shows that 80% of all COVID-19 infections in the country were from persons who were not vaccinated. The president said science has proven that getting vaccinated was the most efficient way to curb the spread of COVID-19 and go back to the normal way of life.
Government has succeeded in securing considerable quantities of vaccines for the country, numbering nearly 26 million doses so far, with more on the way. Thus far, a total of 10,451,662 vaccine doses have been administered. 7,070,719 persons have received at least one jab, with 3,380,949 persons fully vaccinated. So I entreat all those who have not been vaccinated to do so. Our responsibility to one another requires that we be vaccinated.
And on to some business stories. The National Insurance Commission, NIC, which regulates the insurance sector in Ghana, has described reports that all international travelers arriving in Ghana by the end of March this year will be expected to sign onto a compulsory insurance cover known as Aquaba Insurance Policy as untrue. They have, however, urged the general public to disregard the publication.
The managing director of SIC Insurance plc, Stephen Odro, is quoted as explaining that every traveler coming into Ghana will be required to purchase the insurance regardless of the duration of stay and nationality. The report suggested that the said product was to be implemented by 3 of the leading insurance companies in the country, that is the State Insurance Company plc, SIC, Enterprise Insurance and Glyco Insurance Company.
The government has assured investors of ongoing work being done to ensure that Ghana's economic rebound anchored in fiscal consolidation and debt sustainability is successful. This follows concerns raised by investors pertaining to a number of issues, including clarity on policy to cut the 2022 expenditure by 20% across board, the 2022 revenue target, and the government's ability to meet this target, among others.
Speaking to the media after an engagement between government officials and investors as part of the 2022 Non-Deal Investor Roadshow, Minister of State at the Finance Ministry, Charles Edubuahin, said he was positive of sustained investor confidence going forward. He added that as a government, it was necessary to speak directly with the investor base and assure them of the steady progress being made towards an economic rebound anchored on a fiscal consolidation and debt sustainability. Earlier this month, the government embarked on a 3-day non-deal investor roadshow to engage with both offshore investors and onshore investors to update them on Ghana's recent economic performance and outlook. The engagements were led by senior officials from the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana. According to a statement from the Finance Ministry, the roadshow, among other things, provided the opportunity for government to respond to questions or concerns. The Finance Ministry noted that these investors have assets under management in excess of $4 trillion.
Former Finance Minister Seth Terkper says the elevy policy, if implemented, would disrupt the country's tax structure. Mr. Terkper said the policy takes the country back in time on doing major work that has been done to strengthen the tax system.
Since its announcement, there have been different views on the e-levy, with the majority of Ghanaians proposing total scrapping. As a result, government officials on Thursday, January 20th, 2022, began a nationwide public sensitization on the need for the introduction of the controversial e-levy and the many policies and programs the government will use the revenue accrued from the levy for.
We'll be right back with more news after this break. Welcome back, and on to some international news. The BBC is seeking a rising star of African journalism for the BBC World News Komla Dumo Award, now in its 7th year. Journalists from across Africa are invited to apply for the award, which aims to uncover and promote fresh talent from the continent. The winner will spend 3 months at the BBC headquarters in London, gaining skills and experience. Applications close on 16th February 2022 at 23:59 GMT.
The award was established to honor Komla Dumo, an exceptional Ghanaian broadcaster and presenter for BBC World News, who died suddenly aged 41 in 2014. Dumo's widow, Kwansima Dumo, told the previous winner, Victoria Rubadiri, that she was proud of her husband's impact at the BBC and also said her family were thankful to the BBC for remembering him through this prize. The BBC is encouraging journalists across Africa to apply for the prize, which seeks to promote and celebrate outstanding journalistic talent living and working on the continent. As well as receiving training, the successful candidate will have the opportunity to travel to a country in Africa to report on a story that they have researched, with the report broadcast to the BBC global audiences. Known for championing robust, dynamic journalism and for his commitment to reporting African stories comprehensively and authentically, Dumo made a significant impact on Africa and the rest of the world. The BBC is committed to continuing his legacy through the award by empowering journalists from Africa to tell original and announced African stories to reach international audiences.
Moving on, U.S. President Joe Biden says he would consider personal sanctions on Vladimir Putin if Russia invades Ukraine. Mr. Biden said there would be enormous consequences for the world if Russia made a move on the nation which sits on its southwestern border. His comments came as other Western leaders repeated warnings that Russia would pay a heavy price for invasion.
Russia has accused the U.S. and others of escalating tensions over the issue and denies planning to enter Ukraine. However, Moscow has deployed an estimated 100,000 soldiers near the border. The Kremlin has said it sees the Western military alliance, NATO, as a security threat and is demanding legal guarantee that it will not add the new members further east, including neighboring Ukraine. But the U.S. has said the issue at stake is Russian aggression, not NATO expansion. Fears of invasion have prompted Western embassies in Kyiv to withdraw some personnel. Diplomats from Russia, Ukraine, Germany, and France will gather in Paris on Wednesday for talks about the ongoing tensions.
U.S. Coast Guard officials are searching for 39 people who are feared missing after their ship capsized on Saturday night off the Florida coast. Officials were alerted on Tuesday morning after fishermen spotted a man clinging to the hull of a boat 45 miles from the city of Fort Pierce.
The survivors said the group had embarked from Bimini, Bahamas on Saturday night and hit foul weather. U.S. officials say the boat may have been part of a human smuggling venture. According to the survivor, who has not been identified, none of the passengers were wearing life vests. The search was being led by Miami Coast Guard using ships and aircrafts, the agency said on Twitter. By Tuesday afternoon, no further survivors had been found. The island of Bimini is the westernmost district of the Bahamas and is only 80 miles from Miami. Officials are searching from Bimini to Fort Pierce, an area roughly 135 miles wide. Incidents with vessels crowded with people are not uncommon in the waters of Florida. Many of the cases involve migrants from Cuba and Haiti trying to reach the U.S. On Friday, the Coast Guard reported that they had found 88 Haitians in an overloaded ship west of the Bahamas.
And on to some sports stories. The AFCON quarterfinal scheduled to take place at the Olimbe Stadium on Sunday has been moved to the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium following the stampede that occurred during Monday's night game between Cameroon and Comoros. 8 persons have been confirmed dead, while many others were injured after the crash outside the stadium.
The crash happened as crowds struggled to get access to the Olimbe Stadium in the Cameroonian capital, Yaoundé. Witnesses at the stadium said children were among those caught up in the crush, while others also said it happened when stadium stewards closed the gates and stopped allowing people in. In a press conference concerning the incident, CAF President Patrice Motsepe asked that the game be moved to the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium while demanding a detailed report of what might have led to the happening outside the stadium.
Sadio Mane scored as Senegal beat 9-man Cape Verde 2-0 in the last 16 of the African Cup of Nations, but was immediately forced off with concussion.
Mane crawled in off the underside of the crossbar soon after keeper Vozina had been dismissed over a nasty clash of heads with the Liverpool forward. Mane continued despite appearing to be briefly knocked out in the incident. After celebrating his goal, he lay down on halfway, and before the game restarted, he was led off the field. Cape Verde midfielder Patrick Adrande had been shown a straight red card midway through the first half, while Bamba Dieng added Senegal's second in second-half injury time. The match in Bafoussam was preceded by a minute's silence for the victims of the crush at the Olimbe Stadium on Monday. Senegal will face either Mali or Equatorial Guinea in the last 8 on Sunday.
To some entertainment news, top-selling Ghanaian dancehall artist Stonebwoy will be storming Portugal in June at a music festival dubbed Trace Made in Africa. The maiden edition of the festival, being organized to celebrate the greatness of African culture through music, will take place at iconic Alfândega do Porto in Portugal from June 24 to 26, 2022.
Stonebwoy, one of the headline acts of the event, will share the stage with some international acts and thrill music fans with various songs. The Ghanaian dancehall artist is expected to raise the flag of Ghana high at the event. With his creative style of performing, stagecraft, and singing skills, Stonebwoy inspires millions of Ghanaians with his music, which cuts across the continent and so appeals to anyone who loves quality. Noted for his supreme and enticing stage presence that gets his audience asking for more, Stonebwoy is expected to delight fans at the festival with his danceable songs and stagecraft. He is known for having collaborations with international acts such as Ja Vinci, Trey Songz, Journal Pipe, Stylo G, Burna Boy, and a host of others.
And finally, Disney has responded to criticism made by Game of Thrones actor Peter Dinklage about its forthcoming live-action adaptation of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Dinklage said the remake of the 1937 animated film based on story from the Brothers Grimm was backward.
Disney said it was going to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film. Dinklage had said Disney should have reassessed the project. Quote, "I was a little taken aback by the fact that they were very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White," he told podcaster Mark Maron. "But you're still telling the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs." Dinklage, who stars in the upcoming Oscar-tipped film Cyrano, has a form of dwarfism called achondroplasia. The actor has previously spoken about the representation of dwarfism, saying it was, quote, "a bad writing to make it a dominant actor trait." The original Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs film, released in 1938, was the first full-length animated feature from Disney and is considered one of the studio's classics. West Side Story star Rachel Zegler and Red Notice actress Gal Gadot are set to star in the adaptation as Snow White and the Evil Queen, respectively.
And that's it for NEWSBOARD. Let's take a look again at our headlines. Government to embark on a massive decongestion of principal streets in Accra from February 1st, 2022. President Akufo-Addo calls for all Ghanaians to get vaccinated. The National Insurance Commission has urged the general public to disregard publications on mandatory Aquaba insurance. And BBC has launched the 2022 Komla Dumont Award. Thanks for watching. My name is Patricia Roxton Hammond. We came to you live from our studios at Kwabenya Point 1. Good evening.